Welcome to What Would You Choose? Your daily dose of fun choices. Leopard versus buffalo. Which one is a predator? The answer is leopard. Sahara Desert versus Alps. Which one is a desert? The answer is Sahara Desert. Shrimp versus salmon. Which one is a shellfish? The answer is shrimp. Shark versus dolphin. Which one is a fish? The answer is shark. Elephant versus rhino. Which one has a trunk? The answer is elephant. Statue of Liberty versus Eiffel Tower. Which one is in France? The answer is Eiffel Tower. Corn versus cucumber. Which one grows on a stalk? The answer is corn. Tiger versus zebra. Which one has orange fur with black stripes? The answer is tiger. Camel versus buffalo. Which one stores fat in its hump? The answer is camel. Bora Bora versus Mount Fuji. Which one is a volcanic island? The answer is Bora Bora. Grapes versus cherries. Which one grows in bunches? The answer is grapes. Python versus lizard. Which one is a snake? The answer is python. Penguin versus duck. Which one lives in Antarctica? The answer is penguin. Coconut versus orange. Which one has hard shell? The answer is coconut. Koala versus kangaroo. Which one carries its baby in a pouch? The answer is kangaroo. Mount Everest versus Bondi Beach. Which one is the highest mountain? The answer is Mount Everest. Potato versus banana. Which one grows underground? The answer is potato. Turtle versus crocodile. Which one has a shell? The answer is turtle. Parrot versus owl. Which one is nocturnal? The answer is owl. Wembley Stadium versus London Eye. Which one is a stadium? The answer is Wembley Stadium. Swan versus flamingo. Which one is pink? The answer is flamingo. Pineapple versus mango. Which one has spiky skin? The answer is pineapple. Horse versus cow. Which one is used for horse racing? The answer is horse. Maldives versus Japan. Which one is a country made up of islands? The answer is Maldives. Broccoli versus lettuce. Which one has a tree-like shape? The answer is broccoli. Otter versus squirrel. Which one lives mostly in water? The answer is otter. Chipmunk versus mouse. Which one has stripes on its back? The answer is chipmunk. Himalayas versus Fiji. Which one is a mountain range? The answer is Himalayas. Chocolate versus honey. Which one comes from cocoa beans? The answer is chocolate. Dromedary versus Bactrian camel. Which one has two humps? The answer is Bactrian camel. Blue whale versus seal. Which one is the largest animal on Earth? The answer is blue whale. Croissant versus bagel. Which one is French? The answer is croissant. Cobra versus scorpion. Which one is an insect? The answer is scorpion. Miami Beach versus Atacama Desert. Which one is a beach? The answer is Miami Beach. Giraffe versus leopard. Which one is the tallest land animal? The answer is giraffe. Alligator versus snake. Which one has legs? The answer is alligator. Milkshake versus coffee. Which one is usually cold? The answer is milkshake. Crab versus tuna. Which one has claws? The answer is crab. Great Wall of China versus Bali. Which one is a man-made structure? The answer is Great Wall of China. Deer versus ram. Which one has antlers? The answer is deer. Strawberry versus watermelon. Which one is smaller? The answer is strawberry. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Seendal Kids for more Would You Rather quizzes likes that.